Hi everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. How are you all doing today? Taking a look at what's on the table in front of us, and really, it's a pretty cool little slip joint. Now, here, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I was contacted by Stefan from a website called Knives of France. Reached out and said, hey, we carry all French-made knives, and we'd really like to send you one to check out. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I haven't had a lot of French-made knives on the channel. I mean, Opinel, of course. But that's really about it. And I was very interested in checking out what they had to offer. So, sent me a couple of knives. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Sent me a couple of lockback knives, and unfortunately, both of them had lockup issues. So he ended up sending me this one. This is the it's the Violin from Les Sabot knives. Now, I'm sure my French is absolutely terrible, but as you can see, this guy has got some beautiful grain structure Olivewood covers. Really like the way that Olivewood looks. Stainless steel top cap bolster there. Stainless steel pins, from what I remember correctly. Now, look here on the back. There you go. We do have some gapping back there. You do have some decent gapping back there in the back spring. So there's that. But dang, that Olivewood looks good. Now, they say they call this the Violin because you do have a slight swell there, and then you've got the rounded edge. So it's kind of supposed to take the shape of a violin, and I can kind of see that. Sure. You got the double ringed bolster there. Nail neck. Now, I tell you what, this has got a pull. This may be the strongest pull I've felt on a slip joint, to be perfectly honest with you. It's got to be a 7 to an 8. Has to be. Nice pop, but listen to this on the close. No half stop. Dang, that snap shut. So the spring is strong. I'm kind of okay with that because, I mean, I know there's a lot of you that say, you're concerned about the slip joints, and this is a very strong spring, and you don't get that snap until you get it right about there. So maybe 45, 40, 35 right in there as far as an angle. Oh, pops open pretty good too. But there you go. Le Sabot is the brand. Le Violin is the model. Made in France. 12C27 blade. Very nice. Have a nice, quite a drop spear there. Nail nick opening, of course, as you can see right there. And it's a good thing it's out on the forward edge of the spine, because it would definitely be a little bit harder to open. Very strong spring. I like the profile of that blade for sure. Overall, very comfortable in hand. And like I said, I'm putting quite a bit of, I don't know if you can see it on my knuckles, I'm putting quite a bit of downward force on that blade, and it's not moving. So for those of you that might want to try a slip joint, maybe one with a little bit stronger spring like this might be the way to go. Let's do a quick spec check. We'll see where we're at, and then we'll talk about some things real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're looking at about 7.5 fully open, about 4 1/4 on the blade, which is going to give you, or on the handle, excuse me, which is going to give you right about 3 1/4 on the blade, maybe just a hair more, and then your actual cutting edge, just over 3 1/8. on the cutting edge. And then, of course, I mean, your grip length, I mean, you can even choke up and get a little bit more. I mean, if you were to fully choke up on it, you're looking at 4¼ but just by the handle, yeah, just over 4 inches. So not too bad overall. Well, let's give you a size comparison. We need to do that. Well, we're gonna do the bug out. And you know what? Since I already mentioned it, I need to bust one of these out. So there's kind of your, with a modern. So let's go with another French-made knife. This is the Opinel. This is the number 8. Yep. So there you go. There's kind of how it sits up against Opinel number 8. So fairly comparable. You go blade to blade there. Opinel's got it a little bit on the handle, but the Violin wins on the blade. So that's kind of a rough size comparison to another French-made knife in the Opinel. Get a weight on it real quick, and then we'll talk about some things, of course. I go back to that Olivewood. That Olivewood is just fantastic. I really like the grain structure I'm seeing from not only this Olivewood, but Olivewood all around. 2.4. Or, excuse me, 2.7. Not too bad. So let's talk about overall, guys. We're going to talk about the fit and finish. On the scales, the pins are done very nicely. Very flush, very nice. Transitions on that bolster are very well. Now, this guy runs about $57. Quite a bit of gapping for a knife of that price range, my opinion. Definitely would not like to see that much gapping. And it's kind of uniform, but I'm pretty sure, you know, I mean, get picky, okay? I'm going to, trust me. Yeah, there's a, I wished it wasn't quite so much gapping on this. It just needs to be cleaned up. It would look a lot better if it wasn't there. Plain and simple. Now, the other thing I want to point out to you on this is the liners. Now, I don't know if you can get a good enough look at it, and it's not too bad. I would actually take some emery cloth and run it down the inside of these liners. Are they bad? No, they're not sharp, but they need just a tad bit of finishing. Again, just my opinion. There you can kind of see it right above my thumbnail there. It's not sharp, it's not bad, but you can, there's just enough, and it looks like it would catch, but it doesn't. But it just needs just a little bit of finish work to it. A little bit of finish work on those liners on the inside, and it would be good. I guess my biggest qualm with this knife is the gapping. Yeah, for a near $60 knife, it probably shouldn't look like that, you know? And you guys know me and what I've been through with gapping in a knife with the rust lock from Case. So, yeah. Otherwise, other than those two things, I really do enjoy the knife quite a bit. Like I said, it's got nice, slender, got a really good feel in hand. I mean, obviously, I can get an excellent grip on it. I really enjoy the spring strength. Now, like I said, this is probably the strongest spring I have felt on a knife. The strongest pull, yeah, has to be. Pops open, doesn't really give you quite that pop on the open. I mean, it's good, but on the close, that's where you get the snap. And trust me, it talks to you. You talk about walk and talk. And in doing so, I mean, you can help me look here, but I haven't noticed any type of blade wrap or anything like that. I mean, there is kind of, and I can't tell if that's a pin, but it stays off the back spring. That is the most important part. Stays off the back spring, even with that snap. Yeah. Overall, It's not bad. I like the knife. I like the feel of the knife. I definitely like the overall look of it, the profile, the Olivewood, the blade profile, everything like that, with the exception of that gapping back there. You know, for like I said, for a knife. And could this be a one-off? Absolutely 100%. This could be the only knife that looks like that. The rest of them could be perfect. I don't know. This is the only one I've seen. Could it be? Maybe. Maybe not. Again, not quite sure. If they're all have a grain structure similar to this, obviously it's not going to be exactly the same because, well, it just isn't. Everything else has done pretty well. And like I said, on the inner liners, I would probably run just a little bit of emery cloth or some really, really, really fine grit sandpaper in there just to tone that down just a little bit. That is probably super nitpicky. But, you know, with the experience, I made sure I give it a good look over. But love that spring tension. Really, really enjoy. And, you know, the more I mess with this knife, I'm like, man, I wish maybe a couple more of my knives had a little bit stronger springs on them. So, you know, maybe I do like a stronger spring. Very cool. You know, you get to check out all these knives and look at them. You learn things. You expand your knowledge base, and you'll be like, wow, I kind of like this a little bit better. So, very cool, though. I really appreciate Stefan from Knives of France sending this one out. Like I said, I'm bummed that the first two I got kind of had a little bit of issues. This one, I wish things were a little bit different on it with the gapping and the inner liners. But overall, not a bad knife. If you can put up with a little bit of gapping potentially, don't mind running a little emery cloth or fine grit sandpaper on the inner liner. You know, you could have yourself a really, really good looking knife in 12C27 and Olivewood handles for right around just under 60 bucks. 57, I think, is what they sell for. So, there you go, guys. Thank you very much once again, Stefan, for sending this one out to check out. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking it out with me. As always, guys, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Bye-bye.